Grab your big book, your pen, your highlighter, and notepad and get ready to hear and apply some of the solution from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous through the experience, strength, and hope of Nikki M. To have a question addressed in a future episode of Noodle It Out with Nikki, please send an email to noodlewithnikki@gmail.com, and Nikki is spelled with 2 Ks. To get a more interactive experience with Nikki as she noodles out life and recovery questions using the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, you can get a link to her weekly Noodle It Out with Nikki meeting held live on Zoom every Monday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. The information to that meeting is in the show notes of this podcast. God morning, God afternoon, and God evening to all. My name is Justin B., and I am a son of an all-powerful and all-loving God and a qualifying addict of multiple fellowships, living in the miracle of recovery. And I'm here with the intelligent agent, spearhead of God's ever-advancing creation, and my co-host, Nikki M. Nikki, come on and say hi.
Hi. It's a wonderful morning. If you know anything about Noodle with Nikki, which is our Monday 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time meeting, I got real weird this morning, and I wanted to blame Mom's coffee because it's like mud and puts hair on my chest. It's so strong, Justin. But it was just the energy, and it was so great. So, hi, everyone. I'm Nikki M. I'm a grateful member of many fellowships, and I'm grateful to be here with my friend Justin, answering the questions to life using our magic book.
Thank you, Nikki. And I'm really excited to sit down and dive into the big book with you today. We've got a good question that we'll get into here in a minute. But first, I just want to let everybody know, hey, if you are out there and you're like, man, I'm really digging what Rico 12 is doing with the Noodle with Nikki podcast, with the Big Book Roundtable, or with Rico 12 speaker meeting, and you just feel like God's nudging you to throw a little bit of donation our way, whether it be financial, which is great, or whether it be word of mouth by sharing it with your network of fellows, we would really be grateful for that. Thank you for all the spearhead action you take, no matter what that looks like. All right, let's dive into this project called Noodle It Out with Nikki M. It's an exercise and deep dive into finding solutions to questions, issues, and things we encounter in everyday life from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm going to bring a question here to Nikki from, you could either email it to us at noodlewithnikki@gmail.com. You can post it in the Noodle with Nikki WhatsApp group, or it can come from Nikki and I's lives as we work with other addicts or from our own experience. So our question for today, I'm going to get into it, and I'm excited about this. Grab your big book and get ready to run around, because we go from page to page. We do the big book dance as we do this, and it's exciting. So question today is, I am getting so quickly absorbed in future fantasy. I'm experiencing the promises, and I am dreaming about what the future blessings or rewards may come from my higher power. I don't even recognize it that I'm drifting into fantasy until I'm in full-blown fantasy. What does the book say, Nikki?
Wow, the book has a lot to say about it, and I should rewind and introduce myself again. Hi, I'm Nikki M, and I'm a hardcore fantasy addict. I also suffer from the family disease of alcoholism. And I think that's a lot of us, I dare to say, because I do work with so many, and I get armed with the facts, not only of myself, of others, because as we all know, I'm you, you're me, we're all one. And everybody, I think, is a fantasy addict if you suffer the disease of alcoholism. We want to escape from our reality because our reality is too painful. And a lot of us have grown up in this family disease. And let's just start here real quick, fantasy addict, as this just popped on my heart. Let's just go to page 118. And it says, I just want to remind everybody here, if you're joining us, that you don't ever, Justin's never had a drink. And some of us have, hugged the porcelain god, and some of us can't put it down unless, we are like locked up in a cage and get separated to get to the solution. But it's on here on page 118, which is, at such moments, we forget that alcoholism, and that's your fantasy addiction, that's your control, that's your full flight from reality, the alcoholism, the disease of self. How about that? At such moments, we forget the disease of self is an illness over which we, Nikki M and Justin B, could not possibly have had any power. So we're powerless even over our fantasy disease, okay, over our fantasy addiction. Let's roll to page 559 because we do have a magic book. And I know they're going to write, we're in the 4th edition. I heard they're going to write a 5th edition. But the 4th edition right here, Justin, on page 559 in the stories, the very last paragraph before you turn it over and you get into the traditions and it's a blank page, it says right here, above all, we, that's Nikki, that's Justin, that's the person who wrote in, who is future fantasizing. We reject fantasizing. There's the word. And accept reality. See, that's not easy to do, accept. And we all know, I mean, we could all live on every episode on Noodle. Just know when you hear a question, every response back is always going to be page 417, Justin. Like everyone needs to live there. What is 417? I don't even need to turn there because it's part of my belief system and it's a working part of my mind. Okay, which is acceptance is the answer to all my problems. Nothing, absolutely nothing happens in God's world by mistake. Everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be. I'm to live in the solution. And when I complain about anything, I'm complaining about God's handiwork. And that is the most arrogant thing I can do. So that's all. Like, see that I didn't even look at the page, Justin. I'm just staring out into space right now in my noodle robe in my noodle bedroom going, that's just a working part of my new belief system. So page 559, we reject fantasizing and accept reality, which of course, accepting reality, we must live on page 417. Back to page 559, which is the more I think, the more I fantasize everything. See, everything I start fantasizing, start taking one thought today. Prime example, some experience, strength, and hope. As you know, yes, me too. The promises are coming true. And I'm 51. I don't know what's gone on. You know, I want to blame all these weird things, outside issues, which is like the government and all the pesticides, because I wake up and I'm swollen. And it's not the sugar that I'm eating late at night, okay? That too doesn't help, Justin, but I didn't have any. I wake up so stiff. So I hop into the hot tub that God gave me during COVID. Like, these are the miracles. We're experiencing the promises. But I'm in there thinking, and as I'm sitting in my beautiful yard in my hot tub on a fall day in Toronto, I'm looking and going, I need a tiny house. I got like this little shed, right, with my lawnmower and a bike and, you know, the rakes and all that. But I need that moved. I need a tiny house. So I'm fantasizing now because now not only do I need a tiny house, now I need the money to go to the tiny house. Oh, and now I don't just need the money, I need a husband. I mean, it just goes in 2 seconds. Like, it goes to no, and then it just, you can imagine where that one thought, that one drink leads to the night in jail, that one kiss, that one scroll, that one, oh, I'll just turn on and watch one porn. Like, I mean, it goes, I'll have just one bite. I'll just have one thought. Like, we have to reject this. See, in my mind's eye, I'm still on that very bottom paragraph on page 559. I play and replay scenes in which I'm plucked magically, hey, from a situation, because I'm not really hanging out in a bar, and neither is my friend Justin, but we have situations where we're standing, nursing a thought. You know, that's my arrogance. That's my false pride. That's me playing God about me. This is how my life should look. This is how, Justin, you know, like you're probably sometimes even drifting in. And it could be so innocent as looking at, and I say our grandbaby because I don't have one, but I know you and your wife do, our little grandson, and going, and just now you've got him, I don't know. You've got him being that baseball player that you always wanted to be, sir, you know.
Heck yeah.
So like, we're not even allowed to do that, people. Like, this goes real deep because we're exalted into some position of power, some prestige, and then we're living in a dream world. We're full flight from reality. We are not page 59. Wow, this book's magic. We're on page 559, but page 59 says, may you find God now. There you go. I mean, this is a magic book. Page 59. May you find God now. You have to live in the now. See, this program, AA, the steps will lead this person who's future fantasizing, Justin and me, who future trip all the time. It will lead us gently from fantasizing to embracing the great reality. See, the great reality is, Nikki, you need nothing. You're in your hot tub because let's roll even back, Nikki, play the tape. You were in Luxembourg 40 days ago screaming at the man you love. I can be at home in my hot tub. I don't need to be here with you. I mean, I went sideways, Justin. Wasn't present in the moment. Now I'm here, go forward 40 days later in my hot tub alone, and I would do anything to be back with my guy. Like, this is the disease that page 23 centers in my mind. The disease of more, never satisfied. The disease of me playing God. See, it says, if I embrace the great reality, the reality with open arms. What's open arms? That's the how, the honesty, the open-mindedness, the willingness. And Justin, here it is. Like, this is the truth, Miss Fantasy Addict or Mr. Fantasy Addict who wrote in. You're going to find it beautiful, the now. I said that on Noodle today in our Noodle meeting. I said, this is the most, you guys can go pay lots of money for your mindfulness courses, or you can work a free 12-step program. And it says a price has to be paid. So it's not free. It's the destruction of self. Oh, that detail, Nikki. Yeah, that detail, Justin, where you have to have the destruction of self. We don't mix the spiritual with the material. That being said, we have costs here on Rico. I mean, Noodle's a service meeting, Justin. So yeah, please, instead of going into fantasy and dropping, I don't know, drop a little seventh here because that's where we do it. But other than that, that's it. You buy your coffee, I'll buy mine, pay your seventh. Justin, get in here because I have a couple more pages I want to read. But do you have any thoughts as I'm talking through this?
Yeah, that last paragraph that we really dove deep in on 559, there, I have a couple of lines out in here because I've gone here before too. And what I've done, above all, we reject fantasizing, and I line out good and bad. You know, so often in the rooms that I participate in, fantasy goes directly to the bad. It goes directly to the harmful, which good fantasy is also harmful, but it goes to the negative. But for me personally, now that I'm experiencing the promises, when I start drifting into fantasy, it goes to, man, what amazing thing is God going to do with me? Look at what it says. What does it say here? Into a position of power and prestige, you know? And what you said here, this paragraph is just really singing out to me. The fellowship led me gently from this fantasizing to embrace reality with open arms. And for me, that just means embrace the day as it comes with open arms. Let God surprise me. If I know what's going to be in the future, where's the surprise? Where's the excitement in that? Where's the put your hands in the air on the roller coaster? It's more fun that way, you know? And that's where I'm trying to get in my own life too is, all right, God, I'm okay with whatever you bring to my life today. In fact, I'm going to be excited about it, quote unquote, good or bad, you know? So I think that's what's ringing out to me here. Any other thoughts on that, Nikki?
Forrest Gump, life is like a box of chocolates. I didn't know I was here. God is so good. See, full of surprises. We're not just with Justin B. We're here with Forrest Gump because life is like a box of chocolate. And I love that reminder. When you were speaking that, I heard key words in our book and they're throughout there. So it says enthusiasm. It says wholeheartedly. It says sincere. Like these are key words, how we have to face the day every day, wholeheartedly, enthusiasm. I mean, I'm excited. Everyone, let's roll back to page 130. See, here it is. Those of us, because the question was, you know, I'm getting the promises coming true. And just like Justin said, good, sometimes it's like, where's Noodle with Nikki going to be? You know, like, are we going to get our TV show? Because we need a TV show here because everyone's suffering in the world of addiction, you know, but it's anonymous. Like, I mean, you know, my fantasy addiction goes crazy. But here it is too, Justin. I was like, I need a podcast. I must have said that a zillion times years ago. And here we are. So I'm just, everything in your heart's desire, God already knows. So we don't need to worry about it. Page 130 says, those of us, Miss Fantasy and Mr. Fantasy Addict, who have spent much time in the world of spiritual make-believe. That's called fantasy addiction. That's called blotting out your consciousness with whatever you can get your hands on. We eventually see the childness of it. See, like, I see how childness it is to blot out my consciousness with scrolling. Now, does that mean I don't do it, Justin? Yeah, I do it still. I mean, so I've got some addictions, everybody. People in the back, I've been here 12 years. I'm not fully ready to let go of my swearing, my scrolling, and my smoking. There's some things I hold on to, and I have to keep asking page 76 for the willingness for God to remove it and take actions. But we're here on page 130. See, this dream world, this fantasy world has been replaced by a great sense of purpose. Line out, page 77. My purpose is to serve God's people. Line out, I'm a servant of God, wanting nothing in return. Look at the ants. They just work together. We're just working together. The fellowship, chop wood, carry water, says one of my favorite speakers, Peter M. Here it is. We have purpose, and it's accompanied by a growing consciousness. We're waking up, everybody. We are not children. We are grown adults. We are children of God, here to perform this work well, not perfect. We are growing into the consciousness, a higher awakening, a frequency, a vibration, an energy of power. This isn't mediocre. They're talking about power of God, the power of love, the power of being responsible and rejecting fantasizing and living in today. What's going to happen, says Nikki, when COVID hit? What did my friend say in Luxembourg? Ask God. What did my mom say? What's going to happen? You lost your job, your government job, your six-figure job, Nikki. What's going to happen, says my untreated mother in the disease of alcoholism? God is going to happen, Nikki says to her mother. And God happened. My mortgage was paid off. I have a hot tub. Most recently, I got a 3-person sauna. Person listening who has that, who gifted that in my home, I love you. I hope your leg heals so we can get back into the sauna together. I mean, these are the gifts of the program, because everything comes true, Justin. But I had to do this. I have to keep my head in the clouds. Keep my head on what does the book say? I have to keep my head in the clouds with capital H, Him, love, responsibility, forgiveness, all the spiritual principles, and my feet. That's what we're doing here, Justin. I was at Noodle meeting. I'm here with you recording. Nothing comes we get here at the table because we have obligations. And there's many mornings, Justin, I know you can't meet me, but you still show up. We have to have our feet firmly planted on the earth. Oh, line out, page 420. See, we never just sit and do nothing while waiting for God to tell us what to do. We do the next right thing. Firmly planted on the earth, our head in the clouds, knowing that God will do for us. That's where our fellow travelers are. See, I have to spend time with you. There it is. There it is, fantasy addict. You better be in the middle of this herd. You better be in the middle of this fellowship, working all 12 steps all day, because that's where our work must, circle must, Justin B, Forrest Gump, must be done. Reality for us. These are the realities for us. See, here's a promise. And Justin, let me just look at the time. Yeah, you probably need to take us out with this because there's not much more to talk on this. We could talk for hours about all this. But this promise, and maybe we'll talk on this because this is true. We have found nothing. Remember, we're beyond human aid. We're beyond human aid. We have a purpose to serve. Nothing incompatible between a powerful spiritual experience every day. We need this spiritual awakening. We need this God consciousness. We need this power every day and a life of sane and happy usefulness. Because Justin, I know you are not useful when you are in your fantasy, good or bad. And that's the same for me. So I'm not alone here. Justin, final thoughts? Forrest Gump, final thoughts?
Yeah, I'd love to try and get my Forrest Gump accent on here, but I'll just settle with my butchered Utah, Arizona, Washington accent. yeah, I was actually going to ask this question, but it was answered. So I'm going to go through this. Um, he would like us to keep our head in the clouds with him, God, but that our feet be firmly planted on the earth. In the next sentence, that is where our fellow travelers are. So where the first phrase is in clouds with him, planted on the earth with our fellows. And that's where the work needs to be done, is with those that I'm walking this path with, that I'm trudging the happy road of destiny with, and that's where the work needs to be done. And I don't need to be sitting my head in the clouds with God isn't saying, oh God, what great mansions are you preparing for me? That's not what it is. It's, God, what is your will, so that I can put my feet to work down here and help my fellows. So that's my takeaway from this. I needed this question every bit as much as that person that sent it in. Thank you so much to that person for opening my eyes, and thank you, Nikki, for helping me dive through that and see a few pages that really rung out to me. So everybody, this stuff works. And if you think you're the only one with a question that you don't want to post because you think, oh, it's only me that deals with that. No, when you ask a question and we go through the big book and bring God, bring honesty, bring love, bring hope, bring all these things into it, it answers questions for many, many others. So send those questions in, ask those questions, and keep coming back, because it works. It works when we work it. So work it. You are worth it.